Hello, August. Hello, Adeline. It was so nice to see you yesterday and to see what you're making with Legos and see how Adeline is walking and just her personality and how you get along with her so well, August. But enough of that. Let's Grandma have a story time for you. Okay, here we go. Suchomimus smiles like a crocodile. Are those scary looking creatures? They don't look anything like dogs and cats, do they? Okay. Sinosauroptercus. That's him. Sinosauroptercus. Can you say that? I can barely say it. As the sun rose over the swamps, a group of Sinosauroptercus started searching for food. They spotted some giant dragonflies, or Meganeura, and started leaping and snapping at them. Chomp! The Sinosauroptercus caught one of the insects. It crunched on it as the others looked on enviously. Sinosauroptercus means Chinese reptilian wing, or Chinese dragon bird. It was given this name because the first fossil was found in China in 1996. And your dad was about 11 years old when that happened. So in 1996, and showed the dinosaur was covered in feathers like a bird. So these guys are 12 inches in height, about a foot. If you look at your daddy's foot and put it up on its heel, that's about how high they are. And their length is 4 feet. Sinosauroptercus was the first dinosaur to be found that clearly had feathers, since many more feathered dinosaurs have been discovered. Whoops. So he's not the only one with feathers. A couple of Meganeura, which are those giant dragonflies, weren't enough to keep the Sinosauroptercus going for long, so they kept hunting. They ran into forests and quickly came across a couple of lizards. Fast as lightning, a Sinosauroptercus pounced on one of the lizards and gulped it down. The other lizard scurried away into the trees, but the Sinosauroptercus bolted after it in hot pursuit. Sinosauroptercus was a small dinosaur, not much bigger than a cat, but it had powerful legs that helped it run fast and a long tail that helped keep its balance when moving at high speed. Its big front claws were good for grasping prey, and its feathers kept him warm. Ankylosaurus. Two Ankylosaurus were feasting on a huge untouched patch of fresh leaves. Yum! As they munched away, the Hypacrosaurus approached. Though these dinosaurs were very big, they were afraid of the Ankylosaurus's horns, and they kept their distance. So this is the Hypacrosaurus, and this is the Ankylosaurus. The Ankylosaurus, his height was about 6.6 feet, so a little bit taller than your daddy. His length was 20 feet. So if you put your daddy on the floor and then measured 2 more daddies, he'd be just a bit bigger than that. as well as a large neck frill and 2 horns. Ankylosaurus had rough, bony patches on its snout. Where it looked like horns had broken off. Because of this, it's named for a famous river god in Greek mythology, Ankylos, who had his horn ripped off by the legendary hero Hercules. The Hypacrosaurus ate plants, and he was 10 feet high, so about not quite two of your daddies. Like if your dad stood on one of his friends' heads, this guy would be a little bit shorter than that. Has your dad ever stood on anybody's head before? I don't think so. After the Ankylosaurus had eaten their fill, they wandered away, and the Hypacrosaurus began feeding on the same patch. The Ankylosaurus were feeling very full and looking forward to a long rest. But suddenly they spotted a terrifying Tyrannosaurus approaching. Time to make a fast exit. Although Ankylosaurus's large neck frill and horns looked fierce, the dinosaur couldn't use them as weapons, but they would provide little protection against a large attacker. So Ankylosaurus's normal form of defense was simply to run away. So it couldn't defend itself very well against the Tyrannosaurus. Coreanosaurus. In the forest clearing, beside a beautiful waterfall, a family of Coreanosaurus had made a nest. They had dug a hole in the ground where the mother then laid her eggs. Now she crouched over the eggs to keep them warm and to protect them. Coreanosaurus was a small, gentle plant eater. It usually walked around on 4 legs, but it could rise up on its back legs to reach high leaves, or if it needed to run fast to escape from danger. For greater protection, Coreanosaurus usually lived in large groups or herds. This guy was 8 feet tall, so if you put Adeline on top of Daddy's head, that's how tall he would be. Nope, that's how long he would be. Sorry. So he was 8 feet in length and 3.3 feet in height. He might have been just a little taller than you, August, but not much. Not really sure how tall you are. Rheosaurus. A herd of Rheosaurus were on the move, searching for food. The ground shook as they thundered past, all at once. This is the Rheosaurus. See how big and bulky their feet and legs are? They would make a lot of thundering noise when they stomped. All at once, a fearsome meat-eater, Herosaurus, dashed towards them. The Rheosaurus gathered together, forming a tight group. When the Herosaurus tried to attack, they whacked him with their long tails. He ate meat. They ate plants. Rheosaurus lived in South America in the early part of the age of the dinosaurs. Adult Rheosauruses usually had little to fear from meat-eating dinosaurs. That's because the Rheosaurus was the biggest dinosaur in South America at this time, and the meat-eaters were smaller, quite small. The Herosaurus kept attacking, It managed to injure a couple of the Rheosauruses, but the big dinosaurs kept lashing it with their whip-like tails. Finally, the Heterosaurus gave up and retreated into the forest. So the Rheosaurus, he is 13 to 16 feet in height. So more than twice as tall as your daddy. And how much did he weigh? He weighed anywhere from 1,100 to 1,800 pounds. So probably would be as big as 10 of your daddies all rolled into one. The Rheosaurus was one of the earliest of the group of long-necked plant-eating dinosaurs known as a sauropod. Even though it was big and heavy, it could rise up on its back legs to feed on leaves on high branches. The Mosasaurus. A group of Mosasaurus were speeding through the water, searching for food. They came across a place where a huge shoals of fish were gathered, and they started feeding happily. Mosasaurus was an enormous marine or water reptile with a long tail, 4 flippers, and wide jaws full of long, sharp teeth. Mosasaurus means lizard of the Meuse River. The Meuse is a river in Western Europe and is where the first Mosasaurus fossil was found. A fossil is the remaining bones of a creature after they've died. Oh my, my, my. Suddenly, a colossal Hanosaurus appeared out of nowhere. Clearly, these were its hunting grounds. It began to attack the Mosasaurus, snapping them with its huge jaws. This is a Hanosaurus. See how big he is? His jaws are even bigger than the Mosasaurus's jaws. The Mosasaurus were just as fierce, however, and there were more of them. Soon they had driven the Hanosaurus away. Mosasaurus's mouth was up to 3.3 feet wide. Wow, that's really wide. That's like from your toes to your head, and maybe even longer. That meant it could swallow fish whole, even a large shark. Its powerful bite and strong teeth could also crack open thick shells of creatures like clams. So these guys, the Mosasaurus is, let's see, looking for height. Well, they don't give a height because it swims, but it weighs 6.6 to 14.3 tons. And it's as long as 30 to 56 feet. That's very long. Suchomimus. 2 Suchomimus had gone to feed at the edge of the lake. At once they struck it lucky. A large shoal of fish was swimming in the shallow water. The fish leapt and swam in all directions. Suchomimus lunged and snapped at them. Oh, he got one. Suchomimus means crocodile mimic. In other words, a creature that looks like a crocodile. The part of the Suchomimus that was most like a crocodile was its mouth. It was very long and filled with big, sharp teeth. A good thing about hunting along the water's edge was that many animals had to go there to drink. As the Suchomimus came out of the water and Oranosaurus arrived, it was quite a large plant eater. So the Suchomimus began to attack it together. Against two Suchomimus, the Oranosaurus didn't have a chance. Suchomimus had 3 claws on each hand, 1, 2, 3, including a very long, curved thumb claw. It used this deadly weapon for stabbing and ripping flesh and for spearing fish. Suchomimus had a raised crest, that's the raised crest, or a sail of skin on its back. It may have used this to control its body temperature. On hot days, it raised the sail to release heat from its body. On cold days, it raised the sail to absorb heat from the sun. The Oranosaurus, the plant eater that they attacked, he ate plants. Let's see, he was 20 feet in length, and his height was just a little bit taller than your dad. So that looks like the end. And maybe we can find some more dinosaur books to read in the future.